It was supposed to be a calm, promotional appearance. Julia Roberts, the Golden Girl of Hollywood, was scheduled to appear on Kelly Clarkson's popular daytime talk show to promote her upcoming film. The cameras were rolling, the crew bustling about, and the audience was already buzzing with anticipation. Fans were excited, not just to see Julia, but also for the rare opportunity to witness Kelly's brand of candid, unfiltered interviewing. The atmosphere backstage, however, was tense. Julia, known for her charm and professionalism, had been rumored to be in a foul mood that morning. Reports said she had been unhappy with a script change for the promotional spot, and though her publicists insisted she was ready, those who worked closely with her sensed underlying irritation. Kelly Clarkson, on the other hand, was in high spirits. The singer-turned-talk show host had built her show on genuine conversations, occasionally pushing her guests out of their comfort zones to elicit real reactions. She had a sharp sense of humor, and her questions often veered into the unexpected. While most guests embraced it, Julia was someone Kelly knew could be a wildcard herself. As the cameras rolled and the audience applauded, Kelly began the segment with her usual warmth. "Julia, it's amazing to have you here. Your new film is already making waves. I have to ask, what drew you to this role?" Julia smiled, seemingly polite, but her response was clipped. "It was the script, the story itself," she said, almost too formally, giving no hint of her usual playful demeanor. Kelly, sensing the tension, tried to lighten the mood. "I hear there was a slight script change just before filming. Did it throw you off at all?" Julia's eyes narrowed slightly. "I'm a professional," she said coolly. "I adapt." The audience clapped politely, sensing the stiffness. But Kelly wasn't about to let the segment drag. She decided to push a little further, aiming for the chemistry that made her show a hit. "So," Kelly leaned in, with a teasing smile, "I heard that on set, you had a little clash with the director over a scene. Care to spill the tea?" The room's energy shifted instantly. Julia's expression hardened. "I prefer to keep my work private," she said firmly, her tone leaving no room for negotiation. Kelly, never one to back down from a challenge, tried again. "Fair enough, but sometimes the best stories are the ones we don't expect. You've had a long career, surely there's a behind-the-scenes moment you can share." Julia's patience, already thin, snapped. "I don't share everything," she said, her voice rising just enough to catch the attention of the crew. "And I certainly don't appreciate being pushed into gossip about my colleagues." A hush fell over the studio. The audience, initially excited, now shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Kelly blinked, momentarily taken aback, then attempted to diffuse the situation with her trademark humor. "All right, Julia," Kelly said, laughing lightly, "I promise I won't pry anymore. But I have to say, this is the first time anyone's ever called me out on stage." But Julia was beyond calming down. She stood abruptly, signaling the producers. "I think I've said enough here," she stated, her voice cold but controlled. "I'll be leaving the show." The studio froze. Kelly, still smiling, tried to reach out, but Julia waved off the gesture. Security moved subtly behind Julia as she walked toward the exit. Cameras kept rolling, capturing the dramatic moment that would soon become viral news. Backstage, the production team scrambled. "Did she just leave?" one crew member whispered. "I think she did," another replied, barely hiding their concern. Kelly, maintaining her composure, turned to the audience. "Well, that was unexpected," she said, forcing a chuckle. "Sometimes, even Hollywood's biggest stars have a bad day. Let's take a quick break and regroup." As Julia left the studio, whispers immediately spread. Reporters and paparazzi outside were already tweeting about the heated clash. Fans online began speculating, had Julia Roberts really stormed out because of a question? Or was there more to the story? Inside the studio, Kelly convened with her producers. "We need to handle this delicately," she said. "The audience deserves transparency, but we don't want to escalate things." The segment was quickly cut for a commercial break. During that time, Kelly called Julia's publicist. The conversation was brief, with Julia insisting she had been misrepresented, and her team emphasizing that her focus was on the film, not the controversy. Despite attempts to keep the story quiet, clips from the episode began trending online. Social media was ablaze with comments from fans, celebrities, and media outlets. Memes circulated almost immediately, One showed Julia pointing dramatically with the caption, "I have limits, Kelly." For Kelly, the incident was unprecedented. She had hosted countless celebrities, and while disagreements happened, this public clash was something entirely new. Yet she remained professional. In an off-camera interview later that day, she commented, "Every guest is different. Julia is incredible, but sometimes, personalities clash. That's part of the live show experience." Industry insiders speculated endlessly. Some argued Julia had overreacted, while others defended her, citing the intense pressures of celebrity life. Analysts debated whether this incident would affect the film's promotion. Meanwhile, Julia's camp released a statement. Julia Roberts respects Kelly Clarkson and her platform. However, she felt certain questions crossed a professional boundary. She remains focused on her upcoming film and looks forward to engaging with audiences in appropriate settings. The story didn't end there. Fans demanded an explanation from both sides. Talk shows dissected every second of the clash, replaying the footage and analyzing the body language, tone, and timing. Julia's departure became a trending topic, dominating headlines for days. Behind the scenes, Kelly reflected on the event. She admitted it had shaken her confidence slightly, but also reminded herself why she loved her show. "This is real life," she said to her producers. "Sometimes, things don't go as planned. And that's okay. We handle it, we learn, and we move forward." Meanwhile, Julia retreated from public appearances for a short period, focusing entirely on her film. Industry insiders whispered about her mood on set and her insistence on strict control over media interactions. For the viewers who had tuned in that day, the show had delivered more drama than expected, albeit unintentionally. It wasn't the lighthearted conversation they had anticipated, but it was real, raw, and unforgettable. By the following week, media outlets had pieced together the narrative, a clash between two powerful women in the public eye, caught in a live broadcast that neither could fully control. It became a lesson for talk shows, celebrities, and fans alike. In the world of live television, anything can happen, and when personalities collide, the fallout is immediate and unavoidable. Julia Roberts' departure from Kelly Clarkson's show would be remembered as one of the most talked about celebrity moments of the year. For Kelly, it was a reminder that even when things go wrong, professionalism and humor could help navigate the chaos. And for the audience, it was a glimpse behind the curtain of fame, a reminder that even icons have their breaking points. As the dust settled, both women continued their work. Kelly, prepared for her next episode, wiser and more cautious about potential clashes. Julia focused on her craft, unapologetically guarding her space and priorities. And the world watched, curious, as the story of that heated clash continued to ripple through social media and entertainment news. It was, undeniably, a moment that would live on in the annals of celebrity television history. The morning after the infamous on-air incident, the entertainment world was ablaze. Headlines screamed, "Julia Roberts storms out of Kelly Clarkson's show," and "Celebrity Clash of the Titans, Roberts vs. Clarkson." Social media platforms erupted with debates. Some fans condemned Julia for her abrupt departure, while others praised her for standing her ground. The incident had become more than a simple TV segment, it was now a cultural talking point. Kelly Clarkson, meanwhile, faced her own storm. Producers were urging her to release a statement, media outlets wanted interviews, and the audience demanded answers. But Kelly remained calm, opting for honesty over spin. "What happened yesterday was unexpected," she said in a brief press release. "Julia is a legend, and I respect her immensely. Sometimes, live television throws you curveballs, and this was one of them. I hope our viewers understand, it was never personal." Despite Kelly's professionalism, tabloids couldn't resist sensationalizing the event. Clickbait headlines speculated that Julia had lost her temper, or that a long-standing feud between the two stars had finally exploded. Rumors swirled that tensions had been brewing backstage for weeks, though no one could confirm such claims. Julia, on her end, retreated from the public eye for a few days, staying in her Los Angeles home and avoiding all interviews. Insiders said she was reflecting on the incident, though her team insisted she had no regrets. Julia's primary focus was her film, and she wanted the media frenzy to end before it affected her work. Behind the scenes, the network executives were in crisis mode. They had booked a high-profile guest expecting ratings gold, only to get a live scandal instead. Meetings were held to discuss potential damage control strategies. One producer suggested issuing a formal apology to the audience, but Kelly rejected the idea. "We didn't do anything wrong," she said firmly. "We just had an honest moment. Let's own it." Meanwhile, the audience reaction online was intense. Memes, fan videos, and reaction threads flooded the internet. One viral clip showed Kelly trying to diffuse the tension with humor, captioned, "When you're too nice for a Julia Roberts meltdown." Another popular thread debated which star had been in the right, with thousands of fans weighing in, turning the clash into a full-blown social media debate. Amid the chaos, both women received messages from peers in the industry. Some offered support to Julia, praising her professionalism and right to maintain boundaries. Others reached out to Kelly, acknowledging her poise and humor under pressure. It was clear that while the public had their opinions, those who knew both women personally understood the complexities of the situation. A week later, Kelly decided to address the incident on her show, but this time, she did it carefully. The cameras rolled, and the audience hushed, anticipating another confrontation. Kelly opened with a smile, acknowledging the elephant in the room. "Yesterday was unexpected," she began, laughing softly. "Sometimes, even when you think you're prepared, live TV has other plans. Julia Roberts and I didn't exactly see eye to eye on one thing, and that's okay. She's brilliant, and I respect her. I hope she knows that." The crowd erupted in applause, appreciating Kelly's grace. Kelly continued, "Live television is unpredictable, and sometimes personalities clash. But what matters is respect, and we both have that, even if things got heated." To everyone's surprise, Julia appeared via a pre-recorded video message, projected on the studio screen. Her tone was calm, measured, and professional. "Hi, everyone," she said, smiling gently. "I want to thank Kelly and her team for their hospitality. Yesterday was challenging, but I hope viewers understand that sometimes boundaries are necessary. I have tremendous respect for Kelly, and I hope we can laugh about this someday." Now, back to the movie. The audience cheered, relieved to see a resolution of sorts. Social media quickly lit up again, but this time the conversation shifted. Fans celebrated the professionalism of both stars, calling the exchange a masterclass in handling public conflict. The story evolved from scandal to reconciliation, demonstrating that even the biggest personalities could navigate disagreements gracefully. The incident also sparked conversations behind the scenes in Hollywood. Agents, managers, and PR teams began reassessing how they prepared their clients for live interviews, emphasizing communication, boundaries, and emotional intelligence. Kelly and Julia inadvertently set a new standard for handling celebrity clashes, proving that even tension-filled encounters could end respectfully. By the end of the month, both women had moved on. Julia's film received glowing reviews, and her appearance, or non-appearance, on Kelly's show became a footnote in its marketing campaign. Kelly's ratings remained strong, with viewers appreciating her transparency and humor. Industry analysts noted that the event, rather than harming either star, had increased public interest in both their projects. In the grand scheme of celebrity culture, the clash became an iconic moment. It reminded everyone that even the most polished stars are human. That day on live television, Julia Roberts and Kelly Clarkson had both shown strength, vulnerability, and professionalism, albeit in very different ways. And in doing so, they left an indelible mark on the world of entertainment, teaching a valuable lesson: sometimes, conflict doesn't destroy careers, it defines them. By the time the dust settled, fans were left with more than gossip. They had witnessed a real, unfiltered moment between two powerful women, complete with tension, emotion, and eventual reconciliation. It became a story not just of celebrity clash, but of respect, boundaries, and the art of handling pressure under the public eye. And as Hollywood moved forward, one thing was clear: whenever Julia Roberts or Kelly Clarkson walked into a studio, the world would watch closely, because if anyone could turn a simple interview into an unforgettable lesson in professionalism, it was them.